What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Social Club where everyone has a voice. I'm your host, Jacob Hale, joined with me by Nathan Garth.
Happy to be here.
Yep, as usual. So go ahead, like, follow, subscribe. Go ahead and check out our Discord down below. And then let us know, just the good and the bad, what you guys like about the channel, what you don't like. We're gonna keep growing this thing, gonna keep going, keep going, keep going, and we're all gonna have fun together as a big community. Again, because at this point we probably posted our fan episode. If you guys have a comment down below. If you really like it, we're going to talk about it here and make a video about it and live respond to you on what we think and everything. So, with that being said, topic of the day, we are talking about bowl games, the thing that everyone loves. All right, all 60 of them that they have.
Yep, it's an exciting time unless you're a Kansas football fan and you don't get to experience this ever. So,
There you go. Shots fired. Yeah. So the conversation, and this is the conversation every year, is that what kind of is the point of all these bowl games? A lot of the big issues that we have is that you have, if you're a good player, you're going to the draft. There's really no incentive for you to be in this bowl game, right? And so you usually opt out. And then you have other situations where it's just like, hey, I know I'm not going to be at the school next year, so I might as well just hit the portal now. Or as a coach, it's like, I already got a new job. I might as well just go over there now. So I want to get your thoughts on, what do you think about the state of bowl games right
yeah, it's definitely really interesting. Obviously, NIL and the transfer portal have made it even more confusing than it's been in the past. In the past, obviously, um, it's kind of been if you're going to be a top 3, 4 round pick in the NFL, you're probably not playing to risk injury. Maybe if you are transferring, you might not play as well. But now with the transfer portal, people are leaving every year, NIL money, stuff like that. Um, I always love bowl season. I mean, anytime you get to watch extra football is a plus. You get to see a lot of matchups where your team would never play this team otherwise. Obviously, it comes. There's a lot of times where a team that is maybe 6-6 is facing a team that's 9-3. The 6-6 team wins because they have more of their players that are in. Maybe they don't have people going to the NFL, and you get a little bit of bragging rights against a team, even though the game really doesn't mean much. Um, but now with the 12 team playoff too, we're not getting any of those New Year's Six bowls as just standalone bowls. They're going to be a part of the neutral field playoff field. So all these crazy name bowls, the Pop Tart bowls, the Bad Boy Mower bowls, Cheez It bowls, stuff like that. I think it's a good opportunity. People get to travel to cool spots, Memphis, Las Vegas, Nashville, Orlando, stuff like that. See their team play, or maybe there's a player that on their team that's not going to the NFL but was a big part of the university, and people get to see him in their team's jersey for the last time. So I love bowl season. Selfishly, it's fun to see your team play one more time. But yeah, with this transfer portal, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is insane though what has happened, just in general with the transfer portal and what it's turned to, and there's a lot of examples of that. But just speaking on this one in particular, to lose an entire team again, guys, like a team has like 100 to 130 players on it, right? It consists of four to five recruiting classes, if not maybe even a little bit more. But from 24 all the way down to 18, right? And you lose all of that. That's like 4 to 5 years worth of legitimate coaching, recruiting, budgeting, hotel costs, flight costs, tours, everything. And you lose all of that immediately to the transfer portal. It's some of the craziest things I've ever heard in my life. And for the Marshall School, again, I don't know the full situation, but it had to have been so bad to have everyone leave like that. Like, me and you, we played sports before. There's guys that are just all in on the college,
Yeah.
right? Even the school as small as where we went to in D2, like, there's guys that were like, they're all in on this sport team. It didn't matter who was there, they're staying. They want the logo, they want the jersey. This is who they are, especially a brand as big as Marshall. So again, in a situation like that where everyone is leaving, it had to really be a super extreme situation for the school for them to feel obligated to do something like that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if it ever comes out. Obviously, they're probably regretting that decision. I just imagine their AD is like the Will Smith meme in Fresh Prince of Bel Air, where he walks in and all the furniture's gone and he's just looking around. It's like that's how he's walking into the football locker room right now. But yeah, I don't even know. I mean, what coach would want to take that job at the moment? Um, but we'll see. Yeah, interesting situation.
Yeah, and I guess to add on to that, because we've had some interesting turmoil in not only the transfer portal, but of course with NIL that we've
Yeah.
seen this year. I think the big notable one was UNLV early on with their QB deciding to sit because like he was like, hey, like the money's not coming in. You guys promised me something that's not here yet, so I'm just going to defer and take my redshirt year and stuff, right? And then another big story that I also saw was what happened with the Florida Gators, where the linebacker is coming in and asking for a max contract deal here. It's like, I want a guaranteed playing time. I want this amount of money per year. I want access to the private jet type of thing. Like it is insane what type of pressure, what type of power these football players have right now, and how they're using it, how they're exerting it. What are your thoughts on that first?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just entitlement. I think we can all agree that it's a good thing that college athletes are getting paid now. I mean, they were getting paid before, but getting paid for essentially being like the top revenue producing employee at the university. Um, and obviously, universities benefiting off their name without giving any to the players. I think the NIL has been really cool. I actually do like the transfer portal as well. There just needs to be a couple tweaks. When it comes to NIL, I think not necessarily a salary cap, but maybe a cap on how much a certain player can make, whether that be 500,000, 1,000,000, 5,000,000, whatever you believe. There needs to be a cap on that. And then in the transfer portal, I think you should only be able to transfer a certain amount of times, or maybe there's situations where if a coach leaves, it doesn't count towards your number of transfers. Um, but I mean, we've already kind of seen it. There's guys that go to 4 different schools in 4 years, which sucks for fans as well. A big part about why people love college sports is seeing the same guy for all 4 years, seeing his growth and seeing how different he was from his freshman year to his senior year. Um, but I understand there's a lot of situations where people need to transfer. But yeah, it's a crazy world. People that aren't even that Florida linebacker's not like no one knew who he was before that story came out, and he thinks he should be given the world. So it's
Right.
kind of sad, but um, I think they'll tweak it and fix it eventually. It's a bunch of new stuff. So
Right. Yeah. Well, I'll say so. Like we're pro NIL, of course, and what it really comes down to is just putting some common sense measures in. And the main idea here is to not only protect the brand of college football, but also to protect the players in that regard. So you hear these horror stories again. We'll talk about the UNLV kid, where it's like, okay, I was agreed to get paid this certain amount, and then I never received that money, right?
Yeah.
So what's going on there, right? And then take it a step further, there was a story. It was the defensive tackle for the Chicago Bears. I think it's Dexter Jr.,
mhm.
something like that. He was a Florida kid, but he signed an NIL deal to where he pretty much forego his rookie contract in that deal and has to pay that back to the people, right? So it's like, okay, well, I got, let's say, 500K, but now I'm getting paid a couple million, and I'm getting, burdened heavily having to repay the NIL program who gave me that money and all that stuff. So, um, where there's money, there's obviously some really bad deals and really bad things going on. And just putting some common sense measures to protect the players to where it's like, okay, some random slime ball can't just come up to your kid and make them sign a terrible contract that's
Yeah.
going to screw them over. And then on the other hand, for the school, again, they have to allocate that money. They have to have a booster program and all that stuff. So you don't want a situation where you have a guy Proctor to where it's like, okay, we gave you that money to get you to come here to, I believe it was Iowa.
Yeah,
And then like, okay, the money hit the bank account. All right, I'm going back in the portal and going to Alabama now.
exactly.
So it's a two-way side to this. I know I know the big fun thing now is to be anti-capitalism and all that stuff. I'm a component of capitalism. It's just one of those things. Let's just have some common sense measures, just so it doesn't go completely off the rails, and then it becomes a bad product for everyone.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's going to be um, big names, QBs, stuff like that, where when they graduate college and go to the NFL, they're going to be making less money than they did in college, which also can be a good thing. I think that there will be, as you see, Nussman is staying, or Nussmeier staying,
Yep.
probably because he knows he's going to be making more money at LSU than in the NFL. So it can help in that aspect where some people might stay in college a little longer, which would be cool. But yeah, it's just a crazy world that no one really knows, and um, it's kind of unregulated, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm interested in what they do. I'm also interested how far they go because, like that Michigan kid that got signed, I wonder. It's like, are we going to get to the point where they're actually signing like NFL style contracts? They
Yeah,
say, okay, you get 3 years, 20 mil with 10 mil guaranteed
yeah,
to stay here, and you can't transfer and stuff. Uh, It'll just be interesting. It'll be different. I don't know if I would agree or disagree. I would just have to see where it goes because obviously the over transferring of players is just creating a very bad product in the NFL
yeah.
of these kids just not being ready and not being built to assimilate into a culture and to form a good team. So I'm interested in what they'll have to do. But going back into bowl games in general, I know you like more football, but do you think there's anything that they can do from a game perspective to make it more appealing and get more viewership that you're looking for? So, for example, one thing that they did that I do agree with is that they took the big games and they added it into the playoff format. So
Yeah.
now they're meaningful again. So now the Rose Bowl means something again, the Peach Bowl and all that stuff that means something again. For these other bowls, like the Cheez It Bowl and the Bush's Baked Beans Bowl, is there anything that they can do also to try to legitimize themselves and get more viewership and participation from the fans?
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is I don't know how to word this. I think they're trying to encourage players that, as long as they're not a top one or two round pick, to play in these games. And I think they might postpone the opening of the transfer portal till after the bowl game. So there might be players, young players that maybe didn't play at the university they were at, to get some game film. Because obviously bowl games don't count towards the eligibility for redshirting. So a lot of these bowl games you see true freshmen or people that maybe were hurt for most of the year get the chance to play without burning any eligibility. But I think the way to fix that is postponing the opening of the transfer portal till after bowl season, which I know makes it difficult because then that's when the new semester in school starts. Maybe just pushing bowl games up a little bit more, even though New Year's Eve and New Year's Day bowl games are so awesome to watch. Yeah, I don't really know what they can do specifically to make these more entertaining. Obviously, the teams associated with them are always going to be entertained and want to watch their team. But yeah, I think it's just a marketing and money making um, scheme basically, and that's really all they care about. So
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, I want them to do a lot more fan service stuff, and I think there's some ways that I can do this. Now, this is me putting on my tinfoil business hat on here. So the first thing I would say is this won't apply to all bowl games because there's certain ones that even though they're not big names, something like the Hawaii Bowl and the Pinstripe Bowl and things
yeah,
like that, they're iconic. So you kind of have to leave those in place. But I think I think they should reschedule these teams and make it so that the teams that are eligible, where they're going to play, is closer to where the fan base actually is. So let's just say 100 miles.
yeah,
So like we're going to pick teams that are in the same vicinity of each other and put it in a place that's kind of in a similar distance to where both fan bases can drive or get to that game. So if that means instead of instead of Memphis playing, let's say USC, then Memphis has to go and play Tulane, then so be it, right? But allow that to make it more accessible to fans to where they don't have to catch flights or go 3 or 4 states away to go see the Pop Tart Bowl, right? Make it for that. Two, now, when it comes to that, there's 3 associated costs than just buying the ticket that they have to think about. Is obviously the travel cost, and then when you get there, the food and beverage costs, and then the merchandise costs, right?
For sure.
So, for a fan service perspective, make some type of deal for that, right? So go there and say, okay, as long as you get here, we'll say the third and fourth level is a $5 ticket price, flat rate.
Yeah.
You can get here, $5 is going to get you in, or you get here and then it's like lower food and beverage costs. So now you can get happy hour beers and it's like $5 or something like that, or a merchandise thing because it's the end of the season anyway. To be like, okay, we get there, and then you get a 50% off voucher on any merch that you want, right? But do something like that to where now it makes it fun because again, if you're a diehard fan, you love bowl games, and whenever you get to see your team play, that's what you do. So, whatever you have to do, woo, got some coughs here. Whatever you have to do to make it appealing towards fans and make it fun again, to have to tailgate and get out there and do that will be beneficial for them. And then the last thing that I would say is probably for those bottom tier games, I would actually be use those as somewhat of an experimental game. So those bottom tier, again, the Fargo, North Dakota games and things like that. Find a way to make it exciting for it if you want to think about new rule changes. So like targeting has been a big rule change, right? So why don't we just say, okay, the bottom tier 5 games, and we'll do it based off of like viewership and revenue or whatever, right? um, we're going to put in this new rule because you got to bump the train anyway. We're going to put in this new rule, see how it works, look at the game footage, and then if we like it, now we have better proof to send to the committee and then decide to approve it, right?
Yeah.
So I think those 3 measures are cool. And again, bowl games are just standalone games to where it's like if you lose it, it's not the end of the world. If you win it, it's just a recruiting tool. Or like, hey, we want the pinstripe bowl to come to our school type of thing. But I think that's cool. Be creative with it and just allow a better fan experience than what we have now, to where it's just like, uh, I'm a big corporation, so we have to force everyone to go to Alaska now to go watch, your team play and stuff. Yeah. It's just, I don't like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think testing out new rules and making it a little more centralized to where the university is located is a good idea. But yeah, I could see him honestly. Obviously, 6-6 is bowl eligible. I could honestly see them upping it maybe to 7 wins, or I mean 8 wins would probably be a little unrealistic, but upping the qualifications so there has to be less bowl games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I love bowl season. It's fun, but it's also doesn't really mean much. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, other than that, you guys let us know what you think. You think bowls disappoint to bowl games? Are they good? Are they bad? Now, again, when we say this, we're not talking about the top tier ones.
Yeah.
We're talking about the middle of the pack to lower tier ones that are on Tuesday at 2 p.m. while you're at work and all
Exactly.
that. So let us know down below. Let us know if we need to make Garth an official capper because you do very well during bowl season. I've seen your betting lines during bowl season. You're pretty good at it. So we need to talk off air about this.
Let us know what your favorite bowl name is. Obviously, there's some crazy ones. They change like every year based on who wants to pay for it. So let us know what your favorite bowl name is, and let us know some of your hot takes. Obviously, there's always like 10-point underdogs that win bowl games by like 30 based on people that are out and stuff. So give us some hot gambling picks. I need them.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.